Yes, YouTube, I am back. It's Josh from Josh the Shift Workers Coach, and I'm an online fitness coach who specialises in working with shift workers to drop between 5 and 30 kilograms without giving up chocolate, without giving up ice cream, or without giving up any of their favourite things. I've helped over 200 shift workers this year alone do just that. And in today's video, we are going to be building the perfect training program for fat loss. So we're going to be talking about strength training, cardio, we're going to be talking about how many days a week you can train and what's the best split for you, how to actually build up your workouts through compound movements and isolation movements. So I'm going to solve all of your problems today with this video. So why does training actually matter for fat loss? The fat loss equation is literally calories in versus calories out. Calories in, which is our food, versus calories out, which can be from anything from strength training to your body doing its natural function, which is called its base metabolic rate, to NEAT, which is our non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is things like walking, doing the dishes, that sort of thing. And then the thermic effect of feeding, which is your body actually burning calories whilst breaking down foods that we eat. Strength training builds muscle mass, which adds to our metabolic rate. So every kilogram of muscle that you put on, your body burns more calories trying to maintain that muscle mass and pump blood around your body. Whilst cardio does actually burn calories during the event, as soon as you finish burning calories on cardio, your body stops burning calories completely. Whilst with strength training, we get lasting metabolic benefits. This makes it the most important part of your fat loss blueprint, because once you've finished the exercise, your body will continue to burn calories. So training, strength training in general. We can do this either at home or we can do it at the gym. Obviously, both of it has its perks. Training in the gym, obviously you have a dedicated training environment. You're not surrounded by tellies or sofas or anything like that that's going to distract you. You're surrounded by people who are all there doing the same sort of thing, lifting weights, trying to burn calories, that sort of thing. Inside the gym, you also have access to equipment that you may not be able to have at home. That includes high-tech machinery, it includes lots of barbells, dumbbells, free weights, all of that stuff. But also, most gyms have different weight increments that we may not be able to have at home, i.e. a range of free weight dumbbells that go up with every 2 kilograms, allowing you to do progressive overload easier than say if you were at home and you only had a pair of 5 kilo dumbbells and then a pair of 15 kilo dumbbells. The jump is quite a bit big. Obviously, in the gym, you also have machines for isolation movements as well as safety. So if you're not confident or you've got a little bit of gym anxiety, using the machines can often put you in a fixed position so that you're targeting a certain muscle and you won't go too far wrong just following the instructions actually on the machine. Home training does obviously have its benefits. The flexibility of training in your home, the comfort of training in your own home, especially if you do have gym anxiety and you want to feel like nobody's actually watching you, training at home can be really, really good. Training at home is also convenient and cost effective in the long term. Obviously, the main benefit of going to the gym over training at home is that you pay a fixed amount each month, whereas if you are training at home, you have to shell out for the equipment to start with, but once that equipment has been paid off over the course of a number of months, the return on investment is obviously very, very good. Also with training at home, you get to train whenever you want. You've got flexible scheduling. You can literally train whenever. It doesn't really matter whether you train in the gym or at home. The most important thing is that you actually do train. You want to choose the option that fits your lifestyle and your life the best, and the one that you're going to stick to. So, how often should you train for fat loss? You can train as many days of the week as you want to. Obviously, if you're trying to lose fat, well, we would recommend training between 2 and 6 times per week, having adequate rest days. However, the sweet spot is probably training 4 or 5 times a week. This could be 3 strength sessions and a cardio session, or it could just be 4 strength sessions, so on and so forth. Research demonstrates that training between 3 and 6 days a week yields the optimal fat loss results. Training 3 times a week is perfect for beginners or those who have tight and demanding schedules. It provides ample recovery time between sessions, giving you 48 to 72 hours between those sessions for your body to recover, your muscles to recover, to be able to give your all during the next session. If you can train 4 days a week, this is the sweet spot for most people. It allows increased training and intensity while still getting that adequate rest. If you can train 5 to 6 days a week, this advanced frequency requires a really good recovery protocol, but it really is optimum for your fat loss progress. Normally, if you're training 5-6 days a week, you're an experienced lifter, or you're somebody who is sort of dedicated to their craft, and you're able to commit the time. Remember that consistency trumps intensity every single time. If you can say to yourself, you will train 3 days a week, every single week, that is far better than training them 6 days a week one week, 1 day a week the next. I'd much rather you train 3 days a week. We have a dedicated plan for you. You hit each muscle group twice per week, and that's that, rather than you have this all or nothing approach where you're training all the time, then you're training none of the time. Training 3 days a week is fantastic for beginners and those who have demanding schedules. When we do train 3 days a week, I recommend training full body, full body, full body, or full body upper and lower. That way we're able to hit each muscle group twice per week. Allowing adequate recovery between the sessions is perfect for muscle protein synthesis, and this is optimal for fat loss results. An example weekly of structure could be that you train full body on a Monday, full body on a Wednesday, full body on a Friday, have the weekend off. If you do that every single week, you are going to be so consistent and you're going to be able to make really, really good progress in a short amount of time. Alternatively, you could train Tuesday full body, Thursday legs, Saturday upper body. The primary benefits of strength training 3 times a week: it's highly sustainable for long-term adherence, you've got a generous recovery time which will prevent burnout, and it's perfect for fat loss and muscle retention. Training 4 days a week: this is perfect for the intermediate, and my recommendation is to train upper, lower, upper, lower. Again, we want to be hitting each muscle group twice per week, and this split allows us to do that, i.e. hitting Monday upper body, Tuesday lower body, Wednesday rest day, Thursday upper body, Friday lower body. So across the 2 different upper body splits, we want to change the way that we're training so that we can shock the body, we can allow the body to have ample time to recover, but also maybe dedicate more time to specific muscle groups of that upper body. i.e. on a Monday, focusing on horizontal pushing movements and then vertical pulling movements, i.e. flat bench press on a Monday alongside some lat pull downs, also including some rows, some shoulder presses and a little bit of arms. We want to emphasize compound lifts with between 4 and 6 sets per muscle group. Tuesday lower body, we can prioritize squat and hinge patterns. So we can include a variation of squats, leg presses, leg extension, deadlifts, lunges and posterior chain work, as well as some core. Thursday, we're then hitting upper body again, but this time, rather than doing flat bench press, we can switch to like an incline dumbbell press. So we're attacking the same muscles from a different angle. We want to adjust our rep ranges for variety. So if you were working between 6 and 10 reps on a Monday, then on a Thursday, maybe we want to look to hit between 8 and 15 reps. Just for that little bit of variety, we don't want to go stale. We want to sort of look forward to our sessions every single week and make sure that they're not boring. And then on Friday, we want to hit lower body. So if we prioritised squat movements on a Tuesday, then on a Friday, we want to prioritise sort of hip hinge movements. Think Romanian deadlifts, think Bulgarian split squats, that sort of thing. We also want to include some single leg work here and accessory movements just to switch things up, again, preventing that staleness. So why this works: you train each muscle group twice per week. You have 72 hours rest between each muscle group at the very minimum. This frequency optimizes for muscle protein synthesis whilst also allowing sufficient volume for progressive overload. And progressive overload is essentially where we improve every single time we go into the gym, whether that's through increased reps, increased sets, increased number of weight. There are so many different ways that you can actually improve, but this is the way that we put strain on our muscles, getting them to grow. This split allows us to increase our volume and training without fatigue, making it ideal for intermediate trainers. So training 5 times a week. These are for your advanced lifters, for your athletes, for those who actually have dedicated time to go to the gym and make it more of a hobby than just a lifestyle movement. When it comes to training 5 times a week, we still want to follow the same sort of concept, hitting each muscle group at least twice per week. You don't want to be following Arnold Schwarzenegger or Ronnie Coleman and doing the bro split where you do chest, back, shoulders, arms, legs, because that way you're only hitting each muscle group once per week. A far better split for muscle protein synthesis would be push-pull legs, upper body, lower body. Push day, we want to incorporate chest, shoulders and triceps. Pull day, back and biceps. Leg day, obviously comprising of your squat movements, your hinge movements and some accessories. You then go back into an upper day, so this would be both push and pull, And then lower would be, again, squat movements, leg presses, hip hinge movements, single leg work, and a little bit of core work as well. You're allowing your body ample rest between hitting different muscle groups, allowing for that perfect muscle protein synthesis. Again, training 5 to 6 times a week is really, really vital that you have your recovery protocol on point. Otherwise, you're just going to run into burnout and fatigue very, very quickly. Training 5 days a week, you want to be aiming for between 1.8 and 2.7 grams of protein for every kilo of body weight. So, choosing the right exercises for your workouts. What is a compound movement? What is an isolation movement? A compound movement is a movement that requires multiple muscle groups involved in one lift. I.e., with a squat, you're going to be using your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, and your core. Whereas with an isolation movement, this is a movement in its own right where you specifically target one muscle, i.e. a bicep curl. Compound movements burn significantly more calories throughout your workout and after your workout through elevated post-exercise oxygen consumption. Examples of compound movements are like squats, deadlifts, rows, pull-ups. This recruits multiple muscle groups over the course of the movement, i.e. with a bench press, chest, tricep, front delt. Isolation movements, like I said, are perfect for targeting singular muscle groups. These are ideal for when we have weak points in our body, i.e. say your shoulders aren't particularly strong. Doing dedicated movements, i.e. a lateral raise, will put emphasis just in the shoulders, so you're not bringing up other parts whilst you're working on your weak point. Whilst they do burn fewer calories than compound movements, they are still effective in the way that we sculpt our physique. So, sets and reps for fat loss training. Over the course of a 12-week plan, I use a 4-8-12 progressive overload system. Weeks 1 to 4, we establish a training volume foundation. We want to be doing 4 sets of between 8 to 12 reps. Establish your working weights and then build up from here. This phase develops your work capacity and allows you to get comfortable lifting heavier and heavier weights. And then from there, as we increase through weeks 5 and 8, this is what we call our density increase, where we start to lower the amount of reps that we do, but increase the weight that we use. During weeks 5 to 8, we're going to do 6 to 8 sets of between 6 and 10 reps. We're going to be increasing the total sets while potentially decreasing the reps slightly as the weights increase. This phase maximizes your training density, which is essentially how much load we are doing during your session. And then weeks 9 to 12 is when we hit maximum intensity. We're going to do 10 to 12 sets of between 6 and 8 reps. This is going to be your peak training volume with heavier working loads. This advanced phase protocol requires excellent recovery. The combination of high volume and intensity maximizes your overall fat loss results. You've already done the hard work establishing the foundations between weeks 1 and 8, but now is the time where we really push and we get the most out of your body whilst managing burnout. So the optimal rep range for muscle protein synthesis is between 6 and 15 reps. There are studies that say that you can go beyond 15 reps, but at that point you are going to start getting fatigued. You might get bored whilst doing your sets, and if you can get the same amount of energy output and the same results from doing far fewer reps, then it's certainly my recommendation that you actually do this. Rest periods. So obviously the more you rest, the more you're going to be recovered, ready to do your next set. Equally, if you only take 37s between your sets, I promise you by sets 3, 4 and 5, you're going to be so fatigued. You're not going to be able to push as much weight as you would do had you rested for between a minute to 3 minutes. Resting between a minute to 3 minutes is obviously optimal. If you're in a rush, then an ideal sort of starting point to rest would be a minute 15 seconds. However, if you're resting between compound movements, I'd recommend resting for about 2 minutes. And then isolation movements, you could probably get away with resting about a minute. Shorter rests obviously increase your calorie burn. So why strength training over cardio if you must choose? So strength training builds lean muscle tissue, which increases your resting metabolic rate. This basically is a fancy term for you saying the calories that you burn at rest. Every kilogram of muscle burns approximately 13 calories per day without actually doing any physical exercise. So the more muscle mass that you actually have, the more calories you're going to be burning at rest. Muscle mass acts as a metabolic furnace. It's working 24/7. This means you burn calories when you're sleeping, sitting at your desk, during everyday activities, and the effects compound over time as you build more muscle. Cardio does have its limitations. Cardiovascular exercise burns calories during the activity, but provides minimal metabolic advantages once the exercise ceases. Once you stop running or cycling, the calorie burn significantly drops off. There's no lasting metabolic elevation. Research consistently demonstrates that there is perks to cardio, but I would never ever prioritize it over strength training. The mistake I see most in the gym is those that walk straight in the gym, jump straight on the treadmill before they actually do their workout. Cardio does obviously have its place when it comes to fat loss. If your body is running on fumes, you're fatigued, but you still want to do some steady state cardio at low intensity, this will allow us to burn calories during the day and increase our total energy expenditure. However, if you have the choice, always choose strength training and never do cardio before weights unless it's a 5-minute workout. You don't want to be expending your energy and wasting it doing cardio when you could be fueled, ready for a strength session, pushing yourself to your limits where you are going to have a lasting metabolic effect on your body. And as we've discussed previously, this will allow you to burn more calories at rest because you're building more muscle. The key lies in using cardio to enhance your fat loss, but not replace your strength training. When you strength train, you are sculpting your physique. You are making your muscles physically bigger whilst also burning fat. With cardio, you're not doing that unless it's just in your legs from you doing a run. If, for example, you want abs, you want more defined shoulders, you want bigger biceps, the only way you're going to be able to achieve this is by strength training. So here's a sample weekly training plan for somebody who can train 4 days a week. On day 1, Monday, we're going to do upper body strength. We're going to focus on compounds, so you're going to do a barbell bench press, barbell rows, an overhead press, a lat pull down, a face pull. This is 4 to 6 exercises of 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps. The total session time is going to be between 60 and 75 minutes. Tuesday, we're going to do lower body power. We're going to do compound focus. Back squats, Romanian deadlifts, walking lunges, leg curls, standing calf raises, and we're going to include some core work. We're going to do 5 to 6 exercises, 4 sets each, 8 to 10 reps. And this session is going to take you between 60 and 75 minutes. Wednesday is going to be active recovery. You can do some steady state cardio, doing 30 to 45 minutes of easy walking, maybe some leisurely cycling or yoga. You're going to be focusing on mobility and your actual recovery and your hydration during these times. Thursday, after some adequate rest, we're going to hit upper body again. We're going to be focusing on compounds, but we're going to add in some accessory movements. We're going to do incline dumbbell press, cable rows, dumbbell shoulder press, pull-ups, bicep curls, tricep extensions, and we're going to do 6 to 7 exercises, 3 to 4 sets each of 8 to 10 reps. And this total session is going to take us between 70 and 80 minutes. And then Friday, we're going to be back in for lower body volume. So we're going to do compounds plus core, front squats, conventional deadlifts, Bulgarian split squats, leg extensions, and then a core circuit. So you could think Pallof press, dead bugs, planks. 5 to 6 exercises again of between 3 and 4 sets. And this is going to be between 10 and 12 rep range. This total session is going to take you about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. And then on the weekend, now's your time for your rest and recovery, making sure you're filling yourself up on protein, staying hydrated, and just taking that rest because we've trained so hard during the week. This balanced 4-day structure allows you to hit each muscle group twice per week, allowing that adequate recovery whilst also optimizing that muscle protein synthesis. Key tips for success when it comes to fat loss. Progressive overload is non-negotiable. I'm not saying you have to improve the weight every single time that you go into the gym, but you do need to improve one variable. That could either be the weight that you use, the amount of reps you do, the amount of sets that you do, increase the time under tension, which is essentially a fancy way of saying how long it actually takes for you to complete a rep, or reducing the rest period between your sets. This way, our body doesn't get stagnant, we're continuously growing, and our body is then not adapting and just staying stuck. There are so many people that you'll speak to who are going in to do the same workouts with the same exercises, with the same number of reps, and then wondering why their body doesn't change. It's because the body adapts very, very quickly and stays stuck. Number 2, nutrition anchors your results. You need to be in a moderate calorie deficit to lose fat. Between 300 and 500 calories per day is absolutely perfect. It takes 3,500 calories to burn 1 pound of body fat. So if you're in a calorie deficit of 500 calories each and every day, you should be able to create a calorie deficit of 1 pound per week just by eating alone. That doesn't account for increased energy expenditure through exercise, or increasing your NEAT, which is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or the thermic effect of feeding. So having a high protein, adequate diet, this is going to allow you to sort of improve your body, it will reduce your cravings, but at the same time, protein is what anchors our results through growth and repair. No training program compensates for poor nutrition. You've heard it so many times, you can't out-train a bad diet, and I promise you it is so true. Having high protein, staying in your calorie deficit will ensure that you lose fat. Number 3, your recovery determines your adaptation. If sleep was bottled up and sold in Holland and Barrett, I promise you there'd be queues out the door to take it. However, because it's free, we take it for granted. If you can sleep between 7 to 9 hours a night, this is optimum for muscle protein synthesis, optimal for recovery, and will allow you to sort of build muscle during your sleep. Schedule proper rest days. This is when adaptation occurs. You do all the hard work, all the heavy lifting, tearing the muscle fibers whilst you train, but the real growth, the real sort of productivity happens when you are resting. Making sure you're having at least 48 hours between training the same muscle group is perfect for muscle protein synthesis. You also want to stay hydrated. 2 to 4 litres of water a day is an absolute minimum. Making sure that you stay hydrated with this amount of water will allow for perfect recovery, whilst also helping you stay full up in your calorie deficit. And then number 4, tracking your progress intelligently. Tracking absolutely everything, whether it's food, whether it's workouts, whether it's the amount of weight you lifted, the number on the scale, doing measurements of body parts, i.e. your hips, your waist, your arms. The scale only paints one picture, and we don't want to rely upon it. The scale just literally gives us a number. It doesn't tell us whether we've burnt fat. It doesn't tell us whether we've built muscle. So don't take that as gospel. Making sure that you're tracking across all different variables will allow you to actually determine whether you've made progress or not. Your fat loss journey starts as soon as you finish watching this video. Prioritise your compound movements, embrace consistency and progression, be patient with your results. Nothing ever good came to those really quickly. The proof is in the pudding. Having a sustainable, consistent diet and training program that you can stick to is the perfect one for you. Don't go changing your program every 2 weeks just because you haven't seen results the same day, because that's not how it works. You build your foundations, you prioritize your compound movements, and you remember that fat loss is a marathon and not a sprint. And if you need help managing your sort of calorie deficit, helping work it out, or a sample training program, my pre-application form is in my bio and also in the comment section. But don't forget to like and subscribe this video and follow me for more shift-friendly fat loss tips.